Hello, and welcome to our podcast, Theo's Coffee Break, where we talk about what's going on in our world while getting to know each other on a more personal level. I'm your host, Theo, and for today's episode on Theo's Coffee Break, I'm joined by Lariesha Lee, a licensed social worker, community leader, and healing-centered therapist with over 16 years of experience in her field of work. From nonprofits to education and healthcare, her story is one of compassion, resilience, and choosing self-care in a world that rewards overextension. Hey Lariesha, how's it going?
Hi, I'm doing well. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm happy to be here today.
Yes, I'm so excited to have you here. And yeah, thank you for being here. So if you don't mind, let's just jump right on in.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So Lariesha, can you take us back to how your journey in social work began and what led you to this path of advocacy and healing work?
Absolutely. So when I think about my journey to social work, primarily macro and now clinical, I would have never thought I would end up here.
Okay.
So I grew up as a child. I was the first granddaughter. Only daughter, oldest of my siblings. I had 4 brothers. So I always felt a deep sense of responsibility in my community. And I was like the one everyone was like proud of. And, like she's doing this now and she's doing this and she's doing that. But what I found with all that is I often was valued by what I did, what I was doing, what I could produce, what I could do, especially with being the oldest. And being the oldest, oldest granddaughter, first granddaughter, only daughter, oldest of siblings, you do feel that responsibility to exceed at something and to make your mother proud, make your grandparents proud, and be a model indoor example for who's under you and who's coming after you. I'm a Black woman, and that is very cultural appropriate for us to care about who's coming after us. So I would say that growing up, I honestly thought I would be a teacher.
Really?
I acted out being a teacher, and my cousins and my brothers would be like the students, and
I love that.
Yeah, so a teacher, and also a mother, right? Like practicing being, big mama, being mom and being a grandmother. Me and my cousins practiced those things because that's what we saw, right? We saw our mothers and our grandparents taking care of us and teaching us and showing us all those things, and we just wanted to be like them. So I would say that's how it started. I would also say that through all of that, achieving and really just wanting to stay busy because I came from a very traumatic childhood and upbringing. It was a lot of love, but it was also a lot of strife. So I wanted to stay busy because I wanted to not focus on the negativity and the trauma. I really wanted to, stay busy so I didn't have to slow down and feel things. So I just kept busy. I stayed in every sport. I played every sport except for lacrosse and softball. I was in everything.
Wow.
Clubs, all of that. I was vice president of my class. I was very busy. I did art. I did theater. I was a part of extracurricular activities such as leadership programs, things like that. I just stayed busy.
Yeah.
But I often felt like I was doing it just to do it. As a kid, I didn't even know. I guess I knew the expectation was for me to do more, right? And to do well. So I felt like a lot of the time I was doing those things, but I don't really think that I really was doing them because I wanted to.
Yeah.
I was just doing them because I knew I needed to be doing something.
Yeah.
I would also say that, through that process, being a team person and, getting with your peers and learning certain things from your peers, such as drinking alcohol and skipping school and just really trying to find your way in the world as a teen.
Yeah.
And through that, you know, like still trying to be a good student, be a good person, be a good daughter, be a good you know what I'm saying, niece, whatever, right? And but also blocking out peer pressure and like all these things that do come after you when you are a teen.
Yeah.
So for me, my grandparents and my family didn't play about finishing school. So I knew that I had to finish school. I knew that I needed to at least finish school. So I knew, like, okay, I knew I wanted to go to college. I was like, oh, I'm going to go to college, you know.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I really didn't know why, right? Like, I'm like, my parents, you know, my mother, she didn't go to college. And my grandparents, they didn't even graduate from high school. So, like, I never thought that I would go to college, honestly. Like, so fast forward, I ended up getting pregnant at 17, but while I was pregnant, a few months before that, I ended up being crowned Miss Lake County. Wow. I'm from Idlewild, Michigan. So that was kind of like a county queen, and, you know, you get scholarships, and it's very like a high accolade where I come from. It's a big deal. It's a competition. You know, there's different rounds. You complete community service, like you're in the newspaper, you're doing all these things, right?
Wow.
And for me, it was just kind of like, wow, you know, I didn't know right off bat that I was pregnant because I was a kid. I was 17 years old. Like, I didn't know what it meant to be a pregnant woman or a pregnant girl. So I went on about my life. I was on the basketball team and all of that, and I had to go to a doctor's appointment, and they were like, you're 5 months pregnant. And I was like, what?
Oh, my God.
And, yeah, my whole life changed. I didn't know what to do. I was a kid, and I knew that I couldn't take care of a baby. Right. I'm like, I can't even take care of myself, you know? So, I would say that my family at the time really persuaded me to get, an abortion. And I, at the time, didn't feel like that was right for me. And I didn't really have words when they encouraged me to do that. I just knew that I didn't want to do that, I guess. And I didn't really feel as a kid that I could tell them that. So I eventually did have to leave because it was kind of like, this is what we want for you. Right. We don't want you to, you know, we want a better future for you. So I think out of love, that's what they wanted, is for me to finish school and be a kid and have a good life. So fast forward, had a baby. I graduated from high school, which I was so excited about, and I'm so thankful for. I was pregnant still when I graduated from high school.
Yeah.
Fast forward, tried to go to college a couple times after, just really couldn't stay focused. I think, again, I was a young person who was trying to not only navigate college, but trying to navigate being a mother. Yeah. And to be honest, I really didn't know how to do both. And I really couldn't focus. I had really issues focusing on, like, okay, well, how do I do this, right? Like, like, what is my baby doing while I'm here? You know, things like that, you know. So I tried to go right after.
Would you say that was the moment that made you realize that you were being everything for everyone except yourself? Or was there a different turning point? Oh, yeah,
then? It was definitely a different turning point. I would say, to finish that story, I would say that through the counseling center, when I was able to finally get back into college at GRCC, through all the adversity, this was back in 2016, they did allow me to come back with the support of disability support resources in my church, Madison Square Church. Shout out to them. They really supported me, and I was able to get back in. And through working with the counseling center, the academic counseling center, they were able to ask me questions like, what is your purpose? What are you here for? Like, what do you like? Like, what is the environment for you? Like, what are you looking for? Like, very deep questions, not surface level questions like, what job are you looking for? Because quite frankly, we're not in a market like that anymore. Like, it's more about who you are at your core. What is your purpose? What fills your cup? Those type of things. And those type of questions led me to social work. And really what attracted me to social work was the broadness of it. The need for social workers, right? The need for it in our community. Social workers being in so many different places that led me to being a social worker. So yeah. And I would say what really led me to being, you know, everything for everyone, I would say at different parts of my life, whether that be romantic relationships, I would say whether that being a mother. I have 5 children and I had 3 children before the age of 25. So I would say that not only being a student, right, being a person, being a family member who is being dependent on heavily, because again, like I said, I'm the oldest of my siblings. I'm a mother, and then also a student, and then also I do a lot of community service in the community. And then 2, I would say largely was when I did complete my training and education and social work, I jumped right in to a higher education institution. It's a public white institution, and I got hired as an assistant director at a social justice center, primarily providing support to women and gender equity. So primarily like LGBT plus community, women, and just marginalized populations. Yeah. So I was excited like when I got this position, because like advocacy is something that is very important to me, in ensuring equity and ensuring that people have what they need. So I would say, but through that process, I would say that it was hard. It was hard because what I thought social justice and advocacy was, it's not going to always align with a system, because systems want to maintain the status quo. Yeah. Systems want pretty and frilly. You know, when you're having a Black History Month event and it's bringing it together and it's celebrating and it's honoring, but also advocacy and social justice is also solidarity. It's challenging the system. It's also shedding light on unfairness. It's speaking up. It's not just the pretty, celebratory, honorable things. You know, it's sometimes getting the weeds. It sometimes rocks the boat. Yeah. And I do think that, you know, that can be hard for systems to really go further. Yeah. And it's like, for me, being a Black woman and falling in that identity and working there was really hard, because when you're seeing injustice and you're like, okay, I really want authentic and real change. Yeah. And really, you know, working in community with others to really see that change, but also understanding that systems can be slow to change and they can be complacent. So they might have the means to make the change and still decide not to. So also understanding that that's not a reflection on you. And then also doing some self-reflection work to say, is that okay with me? Do I belong here? Yeah. Am I in alignment? Does this go against my values?
Those are amazing questions. Yeah, and I think those are so important to just even have on your radar, especially as you grow older. I feel like that we've often find ourselves in like a rut, or we feel like burnt out in a lot of ways, to which this is actually a great segue into what does emotional labor look like in social justice work, and how do you personally manage that? Would it be with those questions, or is there some other tools that you use for yourself?
I would say that managing emotional labor definitely is self-work, right? It's like that inner work. Yeah. Because I'm going to let you know right now, as much as an employer will say, oh, we're a family, we're here to support you, it may be truth in that, right? Like, it very much may be truth to that. Yeah. But that's not the precedent, that's not the priority oftentimes in jobs and employment in the United States. Our system can be very capitalist, materialistic, and very like, what is the result? What is the bottom line? What is the output? Yeah. What are you doing? You know, like, what are the trends? Those type of things. So sometimes emotional labor and burnout may not be on a employer's radar, and maybe it is on their radar, but maybe it's not like their top concern, right?
Yeah.
So you have to be your top concern. You cannot wait for others to care about you.
Oh my gosh.
You have to care about yourself. You have to choose you. You don't wait around for others to choose you. You have to choose you. You have to do some self-reflecting and know who you are as a person. Because if you don't know who you are, and what I mean by who you are you at your core? Who are you without titles?
Yes.
Not, chief executive officer of such and such. Who are you?
Yeah.
Who are you at your core? Thinking about that, like what triggers you? What upsets you?
Yes.
What is your preferred communication style? How do you like people to address you? I'll give an example. You will have someone, mistake someone's name and say it wrong. And it's like, oh, okay, call me whatever. How do you prefer to be named? That matters. Name holds weight. Words hold power. So I would say, like, definitely consider those things. I would also say that, do what you need to do to take the time to reflect on those questions, because a lot of the time when you are working a job or doing entrepreneurship or, emotional labor and advocacy could be a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
I would say that you need to find time to manage that and really understand how you want to handle what your next steps are going to be. Because it looks a lot like boundaries, right? Like understanding what is upsetting you, or what is not even maybe upsetting you, but what is like unbalanced, right? Because if it's emotional labor, or like the labor specifically, like it physically or mentally just having a toll on you as a person, you need to understand what specifically is having a toll on you. I think the other thing is boundaries, right? Like,
yeah,
what are reasonable boundaries that you could set to manage this problem or issue? Like, what is it?
Yeah.
Because it could look like a lot of things. Also, just like the implications for setting the boundaries.
Yeah.
Because as we know, you might be like, oh, I work this job and it's the expectation, it's the standard. If I set this boundary, I risk, losing my job. I risk being written up. And the thing about it is you have to take care of you at all costs.
Period. Yes.
And the thing about it is, that's what I'm talking about with evaluating what the implications are. And you might be, oh, I don't know. You do know, but you have to take time to sit with yourself in a environment that you're comfortable with, right? Like for me, it might be some silence. It might be in a clean house in my living room while my kids is at school and it's silent, no TV on. I'm just thinking about me and what my boundaries are and what is really disrupting me, right?
Yeah.
So setting that boundary and being okay with the implications, if you're at a place, because again, that's a privilege to set a boundary, right?
Yes.
So also understanding what the implications could be, and then thinking about your life and who you're responsible for, and being like, okay, this is a decision that I can make right now. This is a boundary that I can set right now. Or being like, you know what? Actually, I can't set this boundary right now because I know I may lose my job. And until I can find another job, I'm going to have to do this or I'm going to have to do that, right? Until finding a short-term solution and/or exit strategy. I think that's important because we don't live in a perfect world.
No, we don't.
This is the United States, right? Like, it's a very capitalist society, and I'll keep saying it, right? Like, the expectation is to do more, especially if you are a person of color. The expectation is to do more, especially if you're a woman, is to do more. It's not only to be a mother, but also to be working. And if you're a stay-at-home mom, you know, there's guilt and shame behind that. And just like all these rules, these hidden rules around like what you should be.
Yeah.
And then I think the other thing is also getting the support you need through therapy.
Yeah.
Through coaching, counseling, also mindfulness practices, creative expression. So also that might take some time with understanding, again, who you are as a person. I'll continue to say that. And I would say like being a person and an evolving person, you're always becoming. You're never finished, right? And having that expectation that, oh, I've arrived, and once I do this and once I get this checked off, I'll be here, right? Because it'll just keep moving. The goalposts will just keep moving, and then you're not complacent. You're not happy with anything. And you need to be okay with not only just completing a goal, like setting a goal and completing it, but also with the presence along the way of getting to the different journeys that you're going through.
Yeah, and I think, and I just want to say this really quick, is everything that you just said was amazing, because what it really did was it removed those feelings of guilt and shame around placing boundaries and just thinking ahead for yourself while tying it into your purpose and with the people that are in your life. So in all of that you just shared, which was beautifully said, rest as a form of resistance, what does that look like in your daily life? And briefly before, you did speak about, you know, no one talked to you, TV off, sit in silence and thinking. Is that like, is there other ways that you do this to rest and just get centered and grounded?
Yes, I would say that grounding yourself and like rest, right? Rest is also just protecting yourself from what could literally take you out. Like, folks, we really have to take stress seriously. Stress kills people, right? Like the level of stress and this constant being on all the time. Yeah. And being okay with not being on all the time. Yeah. Protecting rest without feeling the need to earn it either. Yes. So also just like, oh, well, I'll just do this when I accomplish this goal, and just feeling like you need to do something before in order to be rewarded. You are whole already. You do not have to do anything don't deprive yourself of love. Yes. And period. Getting something. Yes. That you deserve already. You deserve to get something good because you are good. Creating margin in my day, like not scheduling every moment. I would say that's the other thing is like, we don't always have to think like grounding yourself in like meditation as this whole, okay, I'm off for a month and I'm able to take a sabbatical. For some professionals, that might be ideal. Maybe you have the benefits. Maybe you have the privilege to be able to do that. And that's amazing. Take advantage of your benefits. But for folks who don't have the luxury of doing that, it's like within your everyday. So if you know, okay, I have to work or something, right? Like I know every day I work this day, right? Maybe you manage your own schedule. In some way, you know you got to work, but maybe you manage your schedule, your appointments. Maybe making sure that you have 30 minutes in between each appointment. Maybe it's 15. Maybe it's 10, right? Yeah. Like giving yourself time to even process what you're hearing with other people and what you're doing so you can transition into the next task. I would also say like the other thing is just finding moments of rest and breaks for yourself, whether they are long breaks or short. Planning, being purposeful about scheduling time for rest. It is a priority. And then also not really feeling the responsibility to explain. You know, somebody, because again, we are in a world where we think leisure is like a privilege, or like it's and this is a whole side note. It's my ADHD brain. You see people on the news talking about, people with SNAP benefits or food benefits shouldn't be able to buy seafood or snacks. And it's like, what? Or like, okay, you see people like saying certain things about like, they don't deserve a vacation. These all these different things, right?
Yeah.
I reject it, because the thing about it is everyone deserves to get something good.
Amen. Yes.
I would say I lost my train of thought. What was I talking about again?
You're good.
Edit that out.
You're good. No, we were talking about, rest as a form of resistance and what it looks like. And you were talking about the people on the news.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I would say definitely you have to be intentional and plan rest.
Yes.
Because planning rest is a priority.
Yeah.
Folks may, you don't need to like feel the need to explain why.
Yes, that's where we're at. Yep.
Because that's a huge thing. And I would also talk about like women specifically, because I've been doing a lot of gender equity work and mental health advocacy. You do not need to feel the need to overshare. And oversharing does come from you not having a place to speak about your pain, or maybe speak about things that you often you're eager to share and talk about, which you can get through therapy. And I am accepting clients if you're looking for people. Also, I would just say, like, you do not need to explain why. I'm gonna give a general example. Okay, say your job allows you to have sick days. You notify your employer, I'm not feeling well, I can't come in. Maybe they don't have a policy on whether you need to provide documentation or not.
Yeah.
You do not need to provide medical documentation then of your personal health information if it's not required.
Yeah. That
is your private information. You do not need to go into detail about, my daughter is, puking and my daughter is not well. I need a sick day.
Yeah.
So being very brief to the point. And again, because systems have, with women, made us feel like we need to have a reason to, not be present, or like we need to over explain. And here's the thing. A lot of the time, the employer is going to be, okay, maybe they might not even respond. Again, just don't go too far in the weeds. Just simply, this is what I need. Yeah. I can't be there. Boom. Leave it at that.
I love it because, again, it's like we're bringing it back to that you're the priority. And I also want to say, when I was doing my devotionals and journaling this morning, that's what came up, was like, if you don't choose yourself, no one is. And to be honest, why would you make that someone else's responsibility? You're an adult, right? After 18, maybe beforehand, but the sooner you can learn that, to take you sit in the driver's seat, you take the wheel, and you start voicing your concerns and communicating and getting after that, your life is going to be so much better. So how have you personally redefined success in your career and your healing journey? With all of this great information, tools, how would you say that you redefined success now?
I would say, like, I've had and I just laugh at just kind of my journey for sure, but I would just say that success is defined by individuals. Success is not always money. We hear it all the time, even from people who have money, about, more money, more problems, right?
Yeah.
And them still having a deep seat of sadness. And I have an article, I talk about this, like, like, you really have to be happy and feel whole as an individual in order for you to feel successful. Success is something that you define. They're accolades that you define.
Yeah.
They're not what the society defines as success. You or whatever cultural background, or if you value what your family think of you, maybe success is, doing something because it will make your parents proud. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a cultural thing for you. I know for me, it's important to me. It's important for me to check in with my mother and ask her what she thinks about my life. Her opinion matters to me. Again, I'm a Black woman. That's something that's valued as our family. So don't ever feel like what your reasoning or your family, your cultural values as being important. You do what's right for you because it's right for you. I would say success is also being in alignment. It's not always an achievement. So it's like being aligned with yourself and being okay with where you're at and not like this achievement. Because you will hear certain people talking about like, oh, I did all these things and I still don't feel like I'm doing enough. I still don't feel like I'm happy with all I've done, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes if you put so much emphasis on, oh, I need to complete this goal, I need to complete this goal, it becomes more of a stressor and you don't even feel happy about completing it because it's like you've obsessed so much about completing it that you don't even value like that you completed it. And it's like, that's why you need to celebrate along the way. Like those little benchmarks along the way. It's about peace, impact, legacy, not titles, money, or public approval. Healing helped me see that being true to myself is the ultimate success. So like being okay with my own meaning of success, right? So success might be, oh, I have more freedom over how I manage my time. Success may be I'm disabled and I'm able to go to a rec center and I have my disability and I'm able to find affordable housing. We cannot put our views of what success looks like on other people because success looks different in every country. If we even look at like the happiness index survey, and you go to these different countries and looking at it from a just kind of like a more developed country lens, you may project like, oh my God, these people might be so this or that. And these people are some of the most happiest people in the world. Like materialism is not always, doesn't equate to happiness.
Yeah. Yeah. So I really love how you put that because it is about perspective and it's important to know like, how can you fill your own cup? Right? Fulfillment and meaningful lifestyles do look different to everybody. So I would like to touch on building support systems within advocacy spaces. What are some examples of what that looks like in your practice?
Absolutely. So for me, I would say like building support systems within advocacy spaces would look a lot like finding my community, finding my people, my sisters, my brothers, not kin, right? But people who can be like kin. Because in advocacy spaces, it can get very consuming. When it's good, but when it gets bad, right? I think the other thing is also, for me, something I came to the realization with advocacy is that I no longer wanted to do it as a job. That I was more aligned with being an advocate as this is who I am. I'm an advocate without a title. Like I don't need to be at an employer doing advocacy within a system because this is who I am as a person. And that's why I was getting so upset. And that's why I was getting so like, I wasn't in alignment. And for me, it was overwhelming me because, again, I was doing advocacy in my personal life and then also doing advocacy in a job, 40 hours a week, maybe some weeks longer than that. So I think the other thing, when you think about finding your support system and finding your people, you also have to recognize that sometimes that's not always how you're spending your time may not be where you need to be at. So for me, like, what I do is I do therapy, right? Like, I love group therapy specifically because that peer-to-peer support is important to me. Like, me being around people who experience similar things to me, right? Like, maybe they've been through some things. Like, I've been in a parent support group before.
Yeah.
I have 5 children. So, like, being around other moms or people, caregivers who can really understand what I've been through and are open to hear kind of like mom, just kind of like stories. I would also say I am in a number of mom support groups on social media. And, we send like funny reels, and the mom humor can get dark, but we are good. We're happy to be mothers, and sometimes it gets dark, but we're like, okay, we're just joking. We're just joking, guys. But I would say the other thing is like different affinity spaces, such as like if your employer has different like affinity groups, like, okay, maybe they have this group, this ERG this is specifically for Black people or like Asian people, or like, you being around your people. Being around other like-minded people. I would also say Grand Rapids Urban League. They are fire. They normally have like these coffee business and bagels. This is what it's called. So it's at the crack of dawn. It started at like about 7:45, 8 o'clock. And it's really just like a power hour. Like, I'm meeting with other people. I'm meeting with other business people, aspiring and existing. And it really keeps me going. I'm a person who is very social. So being around people who want to and have the capacity to love on me and I can love back on them and their craft is really what continues to make me feel supported. And, therapy, of course. I would also say we as people, and I'm speaking directly to people who often don't have trust in systems, that support may not always be your blood, right?
Yeah.
Support may not always come from your family, and practicing acceptance. I'm not saying ignoring your pain, right? Like understanding that, I really want this support from this one person, and it's just not happening.
Yeah.
Not ignoring how you feel, because your feelings are valid, but understanding and practicing acceptance and being like, well, how can I navigate establishing strong supports, whether that be through friends, through other family members, through other like kin people, but also through systems. All systems are not bad. How can I find community within systems, right? Like, I know UCC Urban Core Collective, they have different parent cafes, right? Like, there's different systems providing stuff for people, but it's also just kind of trying to maybe get some insight and say, wow, okay, I know one of my friends, or like I'm hearing that this is a good organization for me to maybe connect with about an issue that I'm having, but also being open-minded to seeking support from systems. It takes time, right? When you have been wrong, or maybe historically your community has been harmed.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So what advice would you give to someone who's burning out while trying to make a difference?
Yeah. So the advice I would give them for sure is just understanding where you are. Again, and I'll continue to bring that up, because while the reason why you may be burning out is because the emphasis is so much on the problem or the individual that you have no capacity to even manage you as a person and your own emotions.
Yeah.
To where you're wearing out and tiring, to where you're like, I'm over it. I'm tired. I'm tired of maybe the system. I'm tired of the system not having resources. I'm tired of the system not caring about people.
Yeah.
I'm tired of, maybe you're at a place where you're like, I'm tired of the people. These people are this, these people are that, right? Like, but again, the emphasis is on the out and not the in. You're not reaching in to understand or slowing down enough to where you can take care of you. And again, and I'll continue to say that, it's a privilege. It's a privilege to be able to slow down and to reach in and calm down and maybe manage all these things. So I would say a professional who is navigating burnout is to get support. You know, seek support. What does support look like for you? Get a therapist. Get in group therapy, individual counseling. Does your employer have an employee buzz? Does your employer have a therapist that you can use? But also like getting your own supports outside of an employer, because you have an identity outside of an employer. That's the biggest thing. Sometimes we get so wrapped up in doing a job and doing a service for others, we forget, well, wow, I'm a person outside of this, and this is why I'm tired. This is why I'm burnt out. Yeah. So I would say, like, doing some slowing down to figure out what do I need to do right now, right? Like, am I burnt out and I have a desire to stay at this job, right? Like, what does the long game here look like? It's all about perspective. I think everything is about perspective.
Yeah.
We as people can get overwhelmed and burnt out. Us having the idea that we'll never burn out is not real.
That's facts right there.
You know, so managing burnout, that's why I'm like, I see all these things that say prevent burnout, eliminate burnout. And it's just like our life, right? Like our feelings are fluid. Right, like we as people experience things throughout our life. So I would say managing the burnout is a real goal, right? Yeah. Right? It's something that we can treat and manage. But just like I have a sign on my door that says, no rain, no sunshine, right? Like if we had good days every day, would we be excited when we had a good day?
Well, the grass would just be scorched because we would have no grass. Like, let's get real here. It'd be a wasteland. If we had no rain, it'd be a wasteland.
Literally. And I bring that up and it's so basic, but I want you to know that, you know, through the pain and or suffering or chaos, it has a purpose. Mm-hmm. It may not always feel good. It might not always have good timing. But I want you to really get familiar with who you are as a person and where you're at, because I could give you these basic steps of how to manage burnout and all that, but it really matters about where you're at, right? Yes. Like it will depend on where you're at. Whether you need to just find support and or a support person to navigate what you're currently dealing with. Whether you're currently in a meeting with someone and it's like, I am burnt out and I'm tired. Maybe you completing that meeting the best way you know how, and maybe taking a sick day. Yeah. Maybe you don't have any PTO or anything. So maybe that looks like figuring out when. Could you take a leave of absence? Yeah. Could you, and again, some of this stuff what I'm talking about might be scary to some people, because it's like, I need to be here. What would it be like if I wasn't here? What would it look like if you weren't on this earth and you died from stress? That
is definitely true right there too. Yes.
And I know it took a dark turn, but I'm just saying.
Stress kills people.
Yeah. How can you manage? Maybe not leaving the actual job because maybe you need the money. I get paid hourly. I need to be there. I got a family, right? But finding times to really be able to Be in a confidential space, right, where there is non-judgmental.
Yeah.
And be able to get it out. Like, how are you getting out these frustration?
Yeah.
Moving our body can really help with processing. It can really help with managing stress. Journaling, right? Like journaling, reading some fantasy, right? Like fantasy fiction.
Yeah.
You could also, like, being on your phone and scrolling, it does nothing for our brain waves.
Yeah.
No judgment. I do it too. But I'm just saying, like, what can we do to get the stress out and the burnout out?
Yeah.
But yeah, like, there's so many different ways to manage burnout, but we really have to figure out, like, where we are.
Yeah.
And also what is going to work for you.
Right.
There's different ways we can stimulate our senses. I'm actually doing a series right now on just kind of like our overall holistic being and how we can do that through the 5 senses.
Yeah.
And there's so many different things you can do to really manage the stress or the stressor.
Yeah.
Because it's a difference, right? Like, you really have to figure out what it is that is bothering you and how you want to, or how you can come out continuing to work.
Yeah.
Or you have to learn when to walk away.
Right.
Is what I want to say too. Like, know when to keep on fighting and trying, or whether to tap on someone else to say, hey, that's why we have team members and delegating.
Yeah.
And passing the baton, or walking away and being okay with that. You might not be okay at first, but the thing about it is it your responsibility, right? So sometimes we take on so much in advocacy or just work in general, where we're like, oh my God, I have to be here. I can't miss a day. I can't just not do this one thing. I just have to, where it's our entire identity.
Yeah.
You have to have identity outside of consuming and working and doing things, right? So, yeah.
Yeah. Again, just amazing advice, insight, knowledge that you're sharing. Before we get into these closing questions, I want you to quick brag about yourself. What degrees do you have? Like, what school certifications? Take a moment to just brag about yourself, and how can people find you?
Absolutely. So, you want me to just say the booking part? Okay.
Well, the booking part, but also
the education. Okay.
The education part.
Yes.
I want people to know you worked very, very hard.
Absolutely. So GRCC Grand Rapids Community College is where I began. My associates. I earned an Associates of Arts degree from Grand Rapids Community College. I transferred over to Grand Valley State University and earned my Bachelor's of Social Work. Immediately after that, I started the Advanced Standing Masters of Social Work program, and I completed it in a year.
Wow.
And earned my Master's in Social Work.
Wow.
MSW, commonly called. Yes, so that's my education. I would also say I've gotten a lot of certifications and trainings after that as well. I continuously am an advocate for mental health and in communities often othered and marginalized, and just ensuring equity and mattering, and us being thought of, and not only just the bottom line, but throughout the process, our voices being heard and included in society. So yeah, just like not only just like in the clinical space, but in the macro and advocacy space. I actually go to out of school time, after school day at Capitol tomorrow in Lansing. So I'll be doing some advocacy there, and just really ensuring that at the state level that there's a value on after school programming. I have a nonprofit organization called Leadership Impact, and it is an after school program for Black girls I will be at a mental in high school here in the greater Grand Rapids area this fall, launching up, providing much needed after school programming for that community, where it will be like a cultural hub, just where girls can feel heard, celebrated, in solidarity with, and get much needed academic support after school.
Incredible.
So as far as like booking for, like, I'm accepting new clients. So if you or someone you know is looking for therapy, I also do group therapy as well. Please contact me. I am accepting clients, anybody 15 years or older. I specialize in mood disorders, depression, anxiety, chronic pain, supporting people through parenting and pregnant people. You can contact me for just like events, conferences. I do a lot of like speaking engagements on various topics, whether it be education, advocacy, or just advancing mental health. You can find me at Linktree, linktr.ee/LARIESHALEE.
Love it. Linktree, Lariesha, yes. And then before I let you go, you mentioned towards the beginning that you wanted to be a teacher and you used to do your own teachings. What are some of those classes? What did those classes look like? What were you teaching? I was so curious.
Oh my God. I can't. Okay, so let me see if I like reading, because I've always been a person who loves reading.
Yeah.
I don't know, my family, and I still love my family today, to this day. They always hype me up. Like,
yeah.
They were just, one of those kids where it's just like, okay, look, Mom, I can jump in the air. Like, they were just excited about all the things I was doing. I remember, like, literally just reading. And, oh, my God, you read so fast. You read so good. So I would show my cousins how to read and, like, read books to them and be like a reading teacher. So
I love that. Did you have a curriculum? Did you have
no,
was
it was not that in there. It was I remember even having like a stick.
Yeah.
It was like an old, like back in the day.
Oh my God.
I'm not even that old, but I don't know, maybe that's how we imagined a teacher was.
Yeah.
I had like a little stick and stuff. I do remember all of that. And we are from Idlewild. So from Idlewild, Michigan. So we were always outside too. Yeah. So outside in my grandparents' yard and, sitting in our little chairs and sitting outside, and yeah.
I love that. Lariesha, this has been absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you, friend, for sticking around and listening here until the very end. I just want to encourage anyone who is listening to please feel free to join the conversation. And share your thoughts by sending an email to theoscoffeebreakpodcast@gmail.com. We talked a lot about burnout. We talked a lot about self-prioritizing. And we also talked about some methods and ways to be able to bring yourself into alignment. So I really would genuinely love to hear your thoughts on our guest and on these topics. Again, by sending an email to theoscoffeebreakpodcast@gmail.com. And if you really like being a part of our coffee break sessions, please subscribe and follow and turn those notifications on so you don't miss out on the next episode. Have a great day, and please remember that you will always have a place at my coffee table.